Good morning, Angela. It's Monday, October 31st. And I made a snowman. He's really small. And it's cold, and I'm gonna go back inside now. So that was cool. It snowed this weekend. I've never experienced the snow falling and then also staying on the ground. It happened that one time in Tucson when we were sophomores, but as you may remember, I was asleep. Although I was awoken by people screaming, I thought, why are all these stupid people screaming? And then promptly went back to sleep. So you may have noticed that I'm editing this video. That's because I didn't want to do my entire video out in the cold while it was freezing. Also, by the time I woke up on Sunday, all the snow was melted, so I couldn't very well have done it again. Yes, I want to tell you about the fancy schmancy sales dinner from last week, even though it happened a while ago. It was at this fancy restaurant called Seasons 52, and everything was done family style because we were a table of 18 and they didn't want to take 18 people's orders. Excuse me. And so we got these two appetizers. There was a garlic chicken flatbread and then a steak and mushroom flatbread with blue cheese on it, and they were both delicious. And I think I ate more of them than anyone else. And it was kind of funny because there were like all these plates of flatbread like going down the table, and every single one was left with like one piece on it because people never want to be the person to take the last piece, except for the two closest to me, because I was like, well, I'll be that guy. Then the entrees, there were they brought out 4 different things. They brought out a giant tray of roasted vegetables, and it had roasted red peppers and carrots and mushrooms, and the carrots were delicious. Oh, and asparagus. I mostly stuck to the carrots, which were awesome. And then they had a big giant platter of pasta with shrimp and all kinds of vegetables, and they were some of the most delicious shrimp I've ever had in my life. Like, I don't even understand how they were so good. And then there was chicken, grilled chicken breast, and it was some of the juiciest chicken breast I've ever had. You would have loved it. And that was over Israeli couscous, which is like regular couscous but bigger, if you know what couscous is. It's sort of like a little ball-shaped rice pasta grainy thing with vegetables and like a sauce. And then last but not least, because it was the only one that got completely eaten at the table, was the filet mignon, which they brought out well, another big platter, and the platter had mashed potatoes on the bottom, which were some of the best mashed potatoes I've ever had. Even though there was no gravy, you would have been in heaven with just these mashed potatoes, I tell you. And then a whole bunch of steak medallions on top and cremini mushrooms, and I love cremini mushrooms. And everything was really, really delicious. And so there were those 4 different platters, and there were 2 of each, and we didn't even come close to eating everything. And then the waitress came around and was like, oh, does anyone want boxes? And I was like, yes, I'll take 2 boxes. So I brought home a bunch of the leftover chicken and couscous and a bunch of the leftover pasta. There was no leftover steak, sadly. And then they had these little mini dessert things. And I got the chocolate and peanut butter mousse one, which was delicious. So that was fancy dinner. I loved it, except it took a long time, and I wish you could have been there with me. Now, I have a little treat for you. My mom found this. This was apparently an assignment from when I was in 8th grade in English. We had to like look through the newspaper and cut out different kinds of things from it, and like turn that in. But then you had to do a your turn thing, so you had to like write a little snippet of an article from like a bunch of different sections of the newspaper. So there had to be like a front page headline and a sports article or something from the classifieds. And then my mom found this a few days ago and sent it to me. And apparently I was really funny in 8th grade. So these are the things I wrote. The first, this is in December of 2002. So yes, I guess that's important. So the first story is called Cannibal Eats President Bush. Earlier today, our beloved President, George W. Bush, was eaten by a ferocious cannibal. Although security hardly got a look at the perpetrator, he was described as wearing all black with a black cape and mask, and the mask had ear-like structures poking up from the sides. He apparently hang-glided from the sky and broke through the president's window. A chopper that happened to be overhead at the time described the hang glider as black with a yellow bat-like shape on top. After breaking in, forensics experts say he threw a black bat-shaped object with a rope attached and tied up the president. He then started a fire right in the middle of the room and roasted Bush until he was well done. The man then began eating him until security showed up, at which point he disappeared in a cloud of smoke, leaving only the president's legs and left arm. More on this story tonight on the news. Apparently that had my parents in hysterics. Next one. Going out of business sale this weekend only at JCPenney. All clothing items 95% off and all jewelry 5% off. Hurry in before noon on Saturday and save an additional 10% on jewelry. Apparently they weren't all funny. Next one. I think this was supposed to be in the classifieds. Lost T-Rex. Approximately 16 feet 5 inches tall, green and brown skin, blue collar, name is Fluffy, last seen in park, favorite food is Scottish Terrier. Fluffy loves his Scottish Terrier. And then last, but not least, new team to enter the NFL. Earlier this week, officials at the National Football League announced that a new team would be entering the league. The Juneau Poodles will join the AFC West division and are expected to announce their team roster later today. There's a mistake in there because West isn't capitalized, but it should be. So I hope you liked that. I think it's funny. I'll talk to you later today. Happy Monday! I love you.